Hi, I'm Diane LeBlanc with the Nova Scotia Bird Society.
Hi, I'm Andy Horn, and I'm with the Nova Scotia Bird Society, and I study birds at Dalhousie University. And we're here at Point Pleasant Park, which most of you know pretty well. Right now we're at Black Rock Beach, and we're just getting started on the CBC for kids. And we're going to see a whole mix of birds. Lots of birds are here in winter that aren't around in the summer because they've come down from colder places to this place that doesn't feel warm to us, but is warm relative to where they did their breeding in the summer.
So I'm here at Black Rock Beach, and at the beach we typically look for water birds, such as mallards and black ducks, and even ducks like American widgeons, and many more. Today we're not seeing very many, but we are seeing herring gulls and blackback gulls, and they're lovely birds to see at the beach. I'm using a spotting scope, and this scope helps me to see birds that are further off the beach. Binoculars are also helpful for that as well, but the scope takes out a lot further, and so I can see birds that are at McNabbs Island. Right now, as I look at McNabbs Island, I can see double-crested cormorants really close to the island, so that's a good distance, probably more than a kilometer away. So the equipment really helps, but you can bird by eye as well. Certainly by eye I can see all kinds of gulls from here today.
So here we're next to the anchor in Point Pleasant Park, and it's getting to be low tide. And when it's low tide, these rocks here get exposed, and the birds come to feed off stuff that they can find at low tide, like crabs and so on. It's really cool to see the gulls pick up the crabs and fly way up high and then drop them to try to break open the shells. So there's always something interesting to see. Sometimes you see stuff that's unusual, like there's these purple sandpipers, and they're called purple sand. They're not purple like in a coloring book, but they're this kind of grayish color that ornithologists used to call purple, and they've got really bright legs. So it's on a gray day, it's really cool to see that little unusual thing right out here in the rocks in the park.
So we're still at the anchor, but now I'm looking more at the ocean and trying to think what kind of birds I might see in the ocean. And there are two birds that are very commonly seen from here. One is called the tiger, and it's quite a large duck. And another one's called a black guillemot, and that actually, you might think it's a duck because it's in the ocean, but it's actually an alcid. Both of these birds are found in the winter around around the water.
So now we're going to switch from going along the shore, where you see things like gulls and ducks and so on, to going into the woods, where you'll see another completely different set of birds. Stuff like crows and chickadees and so on. And again, in the woods, you never know what you're going to run into. So let's check it out.
Very still, and I'm just a little branch at a place where I know there's black-capped chickadees. I'm hoping that a black-capped chickadee will land on my hand and take a seat, so hopefully that'll happen in the next couple of days. This is a good spot to see black-capped chickadees and nuthatches and other forest birds like blue jays and different types of woodpeckers. You have to be patient and quiet and still while you wait for this show.
Sometimes what helps is if you don't see chickadees around, just do this. Psh, 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 psh. let's try that out, eh? It doesn't always work.
Birds do what do birds do.
Heard a squirrel, but no birds yet. Well, here we go. So I don't know why it went to Diane's hand and not mine, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You just have to keep trying.
We're still in the woods at Point Pleasant Park, but as you can see, there are a number of dead trees here. You might wonder why leave dead trees, but they're actually really important for birds. Birds like crows, ravens, woodpeckers, pileated woodpeckers, hairy woodpeckers, they all like to drill for bugs and try to find bugs in those trees, and they nest in them as well, so they're very important to keep in there.
So all over the park there are bushy areas like here next to Fort Ogilvie, and especially around the forts you get a big growth of these kinds of bushes. Often they have berries, like their rose bushes have berries, and these are the sorts of places that the forest birds and the other birds really rely on for food and for shelter, not only from the winter weather but also from predators, because there's always hawks flying overhead somewhere, even if we don't see them, kind of sneaking around looking for the little birds. So the little birds especially really need this kind of bushy stuff, and so that's a good place for you to look for birds like song sparrows and juncos and other stuff that likes to hide out. And again, a good way to find them is just to go up to a bush and go psh, 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 psh. Sometimes there's a bird, and sometimes there isn't. So we're just wrapping things up here, and we've seen a fair number of birds. And the whole time we've been out, I've been entering them on my iPhone, because I've got this handy little app called eBird, where you can keep a list. But you don't necessarily need a fancy app for that. You can just keep a list on your in a notebook or something like that if you want, but eBird's a great way to keep track of the birds you've seen. Today we've seen 10 species, everything from mallards to great black-backed gulls to, let's see, what else have we got here? Chickadees, of course. And once we heard a goldfinch go overhead. So if you keep your eyes and ears open the whole time that you're out, you're bound to see cool birds.
And keeping your eyes and ears open at the park can be challenging because there's a lot of distractions. But the birds don't seem to mind, they seem quite used to it. So keep your eyes peeled and try really hard to listen for those birds that really sound. The Bird Society has a Facebook page. If you get a picture of a bird that you don't know what it is, please post it on the Facebook page and we'll help you identify it.